All right, gents, in this video, we're going to construct a two-point perspective on AutoCAD. The purpose of this is to just give you a little bit of preparation for next year while we have a little week in limbo in the timetable. So this will prepare you a little bit for your project next year or your PAT next year in A block. So I've set this up with as an A3 page and just a 15 mil border. You'll see you've got your top view here and you've got the two elevations of your dwelling. I've included just a simple sort of door and then a hexagonal window. And the reason for the hexagonal window is just to give you, just to make you think a little bit more about the detail that's required there, as the drawing itself doesn't have a lot of detail. You will see, however, that you've got a roof again with a little bit of overhang in the top view and obviously in the elevations. So you got your picture plane over here. You guys know that. That's your kind of like the window through which you're going to view the object from your station point or where you're positioned. And then we've got your horizon line, which is down here. I've done it in red so it's easier to see, and also because it is positioned obviously through the elevations. So the first thing we want to do is go and type in units as always, and make sure that our units are set to a full number and precision to a full number, and then millimeters, and obviously decimals as the top. That's perfect. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to heavily rely on layer properties when we draw this. So in this video, we're going to look at just building up the walls. All right. So I'm going to go to layer properties, and I'm going to go right click here, and I'm going to go new layer, and I'm going to call it walls. You don't have to do capital letters, but I'm going to then click a color of sorts. Obviously I want it slightly different. I'm going to use this blue here. Press OK, and then I'm going to make sure it's continuous, so it's a solid line, and then the default line weight is fine. I'm going to, however, add a transparency to it, so it's not as not as dark. So I'm going to add about a 30%. You can do more if you want to, transparency to it. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the walls. But before we do that, most important thing is to create another layer called vanishing points or VPs. And I'm going to use a different color here. I'm going to set that up maybe with maybe a dark blue or an orange, something maybe slightly lighter there. Okay, and how are we going to do that? You can see we have a 30-degree tilt to the right and a 60-degree tilt to the left. So I'm going to come down here to my polar snaps. Sorry, let me just come out of there. And there we go. Oh, it's reading my Microsoft Store instead of, there we go. Right, so what we want to do is put the tracking snap on and make sure we're on 3060. Then I'm going to go to my vanishing point layer. I'm going to click that on. Very simply, I'm going to go to my station point, zoom in. I'm going to, this is not very good. And I'm going to click on that point, and I'm going to extend it, and you'll see it's going to, there we go, it sends an extension when I'm on that 60 degree. And I'm going to intersect my picture plane line. I'm going to do the same thing the other way. So I'm going to take from the station point, and I'm going to go out at a 30 degree, and I'm going to make sure that I intersect that picture plane. Right, we know then we're going to drop straight down from there, and I'm going to put my perpendicular snap on now. So that is going to be vanishing point left, and this will be from there, click, bring it, drag it down. That's going to be vanishing point right. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my station point crosshairs like this, click both lines, CO for copy, enter. I'm going to specify that midpoint, and I'm going to drag that over to that point there. And I'm going to, because it makes another copy, so I'm going to just keep clicking, and then I'm going to drag to that point there. And then we've got the two vanishing points positioned left and right. Now what I'm going to do here is I don't need to keep these. As long as I've positioned it correctly, I'm going to remove that so we don't have too much detail in the way. Now I'm going to start with my walls. So I'm going to click on my wall layer, ready to go. And then I'm going to find my first height reference, which is going to be the point of contact on the picture plane. I'm going to click that and bring it straight down. You can see it's still in the VP layer. I want it in the wall layer. Right, I'm going to send to the right and left vanishing point from that point there. That is going to start with my patio. Again, I need to make sure I've clicked that first before I carry on. So let's try that again. before I draw the next line, make sure walls is selected. There we go. Zoom in. I'm going to come into that point there, and I'm going to go back to the left vanishing point. So now left and right vanishing points. Now these lines here will obviously be the bottom of the patio edge here along this wall, and it'll be the bottom of the patio edge along that wall. Okay. Now to find where those walls end, obviously, I'm going to go to the back corner of the house. Remember, this is the roof overhang, so don't get confused. That's the back corner of the house. We're going to send that to the station point, and I'm going to drop that straight down from where it intersects the picture plane. Normal process that we would have. Let me get my perpendicular snap on again. There we go. So I'm going to do the same thing from the other side. I'm going to bring that down to the station point. Make sure we zoom in and get that right. For now, I'm going to take off my line weightings just so that I don't miss anything, any detail. Sometimes when line weightings are heavy, you can miss. Bring that straight down there. Now I'm going to start to trim a little bit. So I don't need that station point line. I don't need that station point line beyond the picture plane. And I can go up and I can go clean up on these extensions there. And then I can come in here as well, and I can get rid of those two. Right, so we know that our walls, or from the front edge of the front corner of the patio to the wall end of this wall, is going to be that long, and then obviously from the front corner of this patio all the way to the end here is going to be as long as that. Oh, right. You'll see a little bit of detail that shouldn't be there. That should be that little portion of line should be erased, and so should this part here. Those will be erased probably by the time you've got the new CAD drawing, okay, or the question itself. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the patio. So I'm going to bring the height of the patio across, and I'm going to reference that off. There we go, off onto the height reference line. I'm then going to drag that across to the vanishing point right, this across to the vanishing point left, and we can go now and start to sort out the patio. So that is obviously where the patio ends as it meets the wall. So I'm going to take that to the station point, and I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to go from here. While I'm in the command, I'm just going to go draw to where the patio ends there, just under the overhang where it meets the wall. So now if we bring these down, that's where the wall should meet there. So as you can see how I move slightly beyond that line. I go beyond and I don't just intersect. Right, there it is. So that's where the wall or corner of that wall there will meet the patio there, and the corner of that wall will meet the patio there. Right, so I'm going to clean up a little bit here. I want to get rid of these station point lines. Right, good. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Right, then I'm going to take and I'm going to trim the extensions again, just so that we don't need these extensions, just to clean up. There we go. Then I'm going to take those vanishing point lines to the opposite. Those points to the opposite vanishing point lines, and you're going to see they'll intersect to give us the full shape of that patio, the full parameters of the patio. Then where the patio meets in this corner, we know it's going to be where this corner of the two walls of the different aspects meet. So at that point there. So then I can actually take that point with my wall and I can draw it up just ever so well. I could probably just go about that high. It's just a construction. Obviously, we now need to do the roof beyond this, and then we can do the windows and doors and all that later. Okay, so that's the first bit. So we've set up that far corner of the wall there. We've set up the far corner of the wall there. We've got the patio in play over here nicely. We've got the thickness of the patio as well. And you're going to see here that I can actually trim that out. I'm not going to need that. I'm not going to need that either. All right. And I'm probably just going to go trim that out now so that you can start to see it sort of taking shape. Right. So that's first video done. The next video, we're going to look at constructing the roof.